bullet-resistant vests in the pre-hospital care setting. Is this becoming the new standardized of equipment? In this video, we're going to talk about the pros and cons of having our providers wear vests. Now, if this is the first time we're meeting, my name is Jason from DT4 EMS. So let's talk about the purpose behind body armor. The purpose behind body armor is simple. It's for when we're on that known as safe scene that becomes unsafe. Not designed for allowing our providers to go into known unsafe scenes. We still want to maintain, if it's a known unsafe scene, we wait for law enforcement to make sure it's secure. But with us knowing that any scene can become unsafe, that's where our bullet-resistant vests come in handy. Now, we're going to talk about two different types of vests. The first one we're going to talk about is going to be a concealed carrier. So the big thing about a concealed carrier is, well, it's concealed. Now, every vest has pros and cons. With this type of concealed carrier, let's first talk about the pros. Number one pro is most people won't even know you're wearing it. Now understand, when we wear bulletproof vests that people can see, they may be uneasy to talk to us. They may think that, we're not there to help them. We may have that loss of neutrality. Well, that loss of neutrality is a big thing. We want people to treat us like the healthcare professionals that we are. So this, with people not being able to see it, gives us that level of protection. And the simple fact is they don't know we're wearing it. Now, let's talk about some of the cons real quick. Well, one of the cons with having a carrier that is underneath your shirt is it takes time to put it on. It's not as easy to take on or put on, take off while you are performing your daily job duties. That makes it very difficult, especially if you're doing a very high physical task like CPR. And it's extremely hot out. You're not able to shed this very quickly. Now, when we go on to and talk about exterior carriers. Exterior carriers, again, obviously, one of the cons is everybody knows you're wearing a bulletproof vest. But a couple of the good pros to this is, one, it's easy to shut off very quickly. When you're sitting at cover point or back at your station, you're able to remove this for comfort, breathability to it. Now, one of the big downfalls to exterior carriers is people load these things up to make themselves look like tactical carry junkies. I'll give you an example of this one. This one actually comes with 3 different pouches on it. And you get enough equipment on this, you start looking like a tactical police officer. The goal behind having a vest like this is to make sure we're easily identified. Like, for example, my vest here shows clearly it's red. It's not black like a law enforcement officer. It's labeled as fire on here. Hopefully it's so they understand who we are and don't confuse us with law enforcement. Again, we don't want to have that loss of neutrality in our healthcare setting. We want people to know who we are and not be confused. So if you're going to wear an exterior carrier, it should be relatively plain. It shouldn't have a whole bunch of tactical pouches on it. Again, it shouldn't make us look like law enforcement. Now, one of the other good pros to this is, again, it's pretty easy to distribute the weight. This exterior carrier, which is actually by Safe Life Defense, retails for right about $619. It has multiple options like the nameplates. It also has a nameplate on the back of it for you. With it, like I said, it has 3 separate pouches. One for some like trauma pads, things like that. Another one for a flashlight like I have in this one. And one for either your radio, or in this case I have a pair of scissors and a tourniquet in this one. This also does have an option that you can place and have a steel plate in it. So it can also help to defend against rifle rounds on top of that. Now, when you're looking at vests and trying to determine what type of vest are we going to have, we need to realize what is our number one leading cause of injuries. It's not being shot. Healthcare providers in general, or pre-hospital care providers, get shot very few times throughout the year. We deal with more of the blunt force trauma, kicks, slaps, punches, getting hit with a blunt object. These can also provide you some of that protection. Now, if you're going to look for a vest for that, you want to make sure you get a level 3A vest or what's called a 3A plus. That 3A Plus gives you blunt force trauma protection. This one here does up to 36 joules of force. I don't really know how to equate that to how much force that is, but it's designed for helping against a knife stick, things like that. Not all vests offer that type of protection, so you need to research your vest and what you're going to buy with it. Now let's talk about wearing your vest. When should you wear it? What calls should you wear your vest on? Well, that's a great question, and that's one that you need to develop a policy around. Now, obviously, we're going to wear it to any time we're doing an assist to law enforcement, going on a domestic, shots fired calls, man shot, etc. But what about if you're responding to one over the wheel, the fall, a lift assist? Well, the answer is we don't know what scenes we're going to actually need a vest on. Because remember, all scenes are safe until they become unsafe. And just like the incident that just occurred not long ago, that was a general everyday medical call, which providers ended up getting shot on. So if you're going to develop a policy, the policy needs to be you wear it on every call. That's just in our opinion. You wear it on every call. Now, you do need to have some things in the policy that says when you can remove it. Like, for example, you're performing CPR, it's a 100-degree day out. You should probably be able to drop that vest so that you are able to perform that task and not get physically exhausted. Or drop the vest if your rescue procedure prohibits you from being able to wear that vest and be able to effectively do that rescue. These are all things that we need to look at when you wear your policy. But just remember, if you're not wearing the vest, or the vest is in the ambulance, it can't help you when you actually need it. So that's just a quick down and dirty about bulletproof vests, the good, the bad. In our personal opinion, vests can be a great tool when used appropriately. Down in the comment section, I'll have some information about this Safe Life vest that I showed you. It's a great vest, reasonably priced. Not a paid sponsor to this. It just happens to be one of the vests that I believe in and that I actually wear. So if you got any value out of this video, please hit the like button. Consider subscribing. We're going to be doing multiple other videos on topics like this. One of the next videos that's going to be coming up is going to be talking about firearms and EMS. Also about health and safety. Till next time.